There we
All right,
go.
we are recording. Hey, I want to welcome everyone and thank you so much for
Yes,
chiming
yes,
in to
yes.
the family tree. And yes, thank you so much for those birthday wishes, and I really
Yeah,
appreciate it,
God
y'all.
bless you.
When I look at
Mm-hmm.
how God has blessed me and continues to bless me, I say you always just put it out in the universe, whatever
Yes,
you
yes,
ask
yes.
for, and God's gonna
Mm-hmm.
make it happen for you. But you got to put it out in the universe, and you got to believe it. Do y'all believe it today? Y'all believe
I
stuff like
believe it.
that? You put it out
Amen.
there. If you put
Believe God
something
is
out
this
in the
law.
universe, it can't come back void. It's got to move on your behalf, and the
Gotta move
universe will
onward.
move on your behalf. So he said, "You have not because you."
Ask not.
Ask not.
Ask
Oh,
not.
y'all heard
Yes,
that
sir.
one
Shut
before,
the
huh?
front
Y'all
door,
heard
boy.
that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You.
So you
Yes.
you got to put it in motion. That's right. That's right.
Gotta deal with it.
Call it out in the universe. No better time than the present to ask for what you want.
Amen.
And I thank God for the blessings. I ask for it. I put it out in the universe. Every time I wake up, it's gonna be a good day. It's
That's
gonna be a
right.
great day. It's gonna be an awesome day. I
Awesome.
had a story that I told not too long ago.
Tell it again.
Unfortunately, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Here we hear about Tiger Woods, right? You heard about
Hey,
Tiger
got
Yes,
Woods,
got
and
you
indeed.
covered.
unfortunately, we're going to keep
Mm.
him in prayer for what he just went
Yes.
through. But
Yeah,
a
hanging
lot of
in
people
there.
don't know the
He's
story
hanging
of
in there.
Tiger Woods.
He
Tiger Woods'
pushing.
story. Let me tell you the story about Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods' father, I had the very prestigious honor of spending an entire weekend with Tiger Woods' father.
God bless you.
Because Tiger
Long
Woods'
time ago.
father was connected. He's connected with the. If you don't know a lot about Tiger Woods' father,
Yeah.
he came through to our men's what we have down in Atlantic City, a Negro League baseball event where it was called Pop Lloyd's Foundation, and every year we give out scholarships and everything to children. But at this time, we bring in a special honoree, and it's a famous person to represent, so they can be encouraged. So we had gold medalists. We had Dionne Warwick there one year, Patti LaBelle, one year, and we just had a lot of people. We even had Cicely Tyson there one year. So one year, Tiger Woods' father came in. And, I had the whole weekend with just me hanging out with Tiger Woods' father. And I said to
Mm.
him, and I will never forget it because he was one of the greatest inspirations of my life, because he came at a right time to sow into me, even if it was a phrase, a statement, or some sort of something that he plugged in there. We call it pixie dust. He kicked some of
I
that
know that's
pixie
right.
dust on me.
I know
You know
that's
what he
right.
said? I said, "Well, what made Tiger so good? What makes him so good?" He said, "Since he was a baby, even to the time he was able to understand me," he said, "I used to tell him, you can't be good, you can't be average, you can't be good, you can't even be great. You got to be awesome."
I know that's
That's
right.
what he
I
told
know
me. He
that's right.
said,
Wow.
"You got to be awesome." And he said, until he was the age of, literally able to understand the words that are coming out of his mouth, he instilled that into him, and I carry that on with myself and also my son. And everything that I do, I say, I can't be average, I can't be good, I can't
Yes,
even be
sir.
great. I
I
got
know
to
that.
be awesome
Awesome. I know
Awesome.
that's right. I know
at
that's right.
all
Yes.
Yes,
times.
sir. I know that's right.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
you
sir.
know and,
Amen.
and and many people don't know that Tiger Woods' grandfather, which was Eldridge's his father's father, was a Negro League baseball player. Did y'all know that?
I never knew that.
He was a
No.
Negro League baseball
Mm.
player. And he used to
Wow.
share the stories. And Tiger Woods' father said, "I used to change the score out in the outfield." When you used to have the old scoreboards when there wasn't no light up,
You
you had
had
to
to
have
hang them
somebody
bad
out
boy.
there.
Hang
Oh,
that
that's a
bad boy.
run score. Change the number. And they got to turn up
I
there
know
and they
that's
got to
right.
turn the
Hang that
number
bad.
around. That's old times out
Yeah,
there,
buddy.
y'all.
I know that's right.
Well, that's exactly what Tiger Woods' father used to do. So he used to go to the Negro League ball games to watch his father. So Tiger Woods' grandfather was a Negro League ball player. And the one thing that he said to us, he says, I remember when we had to get out of Dodge because when we won a game, they had to run for their lives to get out of there.
To get out of Dodge.
Because they won the game.
Yeah.
That was almost like, we got 2 outs. Man. We got 1 out to go, y'all. All right, let's go. Start the bus, y'all. Start the bus, y'all. Got 1 out. We need 1 out. All right, 3rd out. Everybody ran to the bus. Wow. So, I think about when they talking about Tiger Woods now going through this accident, and it's interesting that I hear that same story. They said if anybody can do it to come back, it's gonna be Tiger Woods. Right. Y'all heard that on the world news tonight, probably.
Yes.
Guess what? Guess where that came from? Came from his granddaddy and his and his father.
Yep.
Instilling those things. So I say apply that same principle. Apply that same principle. Well, we're gonna do something tonight. We're gonna talk about what's going on. Big B is in the house.
Yes,
Let's give Big B, Bill Morgan, a hand. The host of the Family Tree. Let's give him a hand.
Well.
Big B.
How about that? I got my own applause. I don't care.
You got your own.
Leave me alone.
He come with his own amens, though.
Yeah. You're messing with me, boy. I'm ready.
Okay. So, Big B, tell us what you got over there, man.
I'm not gonna tell you what I got.
You got everything over there, man.
Keep something in the closet.
All right. So, Big B, let's go on the serious note. I want you all to know that, if you are listening for the very first time and you're tuning into the Family Tree, this is the time when we want you to answer or ask any question that comes to your heart and your mind, anything that you have that's going on dealing with holistic health, spirit, mind, and body in that order we say. And there's so much going on right now that you have to we believe in building the immune system. Build the immune system in the body, feed the body, and the body corrects itself 11 times faster. So with all that's going on and the confusion and the logistical issues of whether you got the shot or you don't get the shot, and if you got 1 shot, do you get another shot? And if I took the first shot, do I take another brand shot? And all this confusion and things that are going on, it's good to know that you got the greatest key is already inside of you. Got it? Stop looking outside of yourself. It's inside. Inner man, not inner man or inner woman, not outer. Got it? Because if you were outer, that's when they say you out of your mind. You got it? Okay. So I want y'all to raise your hand on the side. If you have a question, you're going to raise your hand. Or if you are on phone, just try to give us a toot, and then Bill will try to grab you and get that information, because if we can't see you, we can probably hear you, chime in at some point in time. All right?
Yes,
so
sir.
I want you raise your hand on the side so we can see you, and you can start on with those questions. Big B, though, I want you to start to tell us what our COVID numbers are. Can you give us our COVID numbers right now?
You got it, man. Updated 8 minutes ago. The total now, here we go now. Total confirmed worldwide, 113,052,485. Okay. If there's anyone that can help me type this stuff in while I'm doing it, running my mouth, put that into the chat so we make sure that it's all translated when I send the information out at the end of the week. Okay. Now, again, the total confirmed cases worldwide, 113,052,485. Critical worldwide, 91,975. Again, that number is 91,975. Total deceased, still creeping. But hey, we're holding it down. 2,505,995. And that's total deceased worldwide. 2,505,995. Total active, guys. Total active worldwide. 24,516,071. That's 24,516,071. Total recovered. Okay, total recovered. Whoa, here we go. Total recovered. Hey, Dr. Paul. Here we go. Hey, here we go.
There you go.
Hey. Okay, total recovery, guys, 88,629,016.
Wow.
That
Did
eight,
y'all hear that?
yeah, that total
80.
recovered.
Did you
88
hear
million
that?
629,016. The number that we hardly ever hear, if ever at all.
That's
God
right.
continues to bless. That's all I can say.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That
Amen.
means that people are getting well, but you're not getting that promotion of
Yes,
that.
yes,
That's
yes,
what that's the very concerning thing when
yes,
you
yes,
don't sometimes, lack of information is
yes.
just as bad as reporting the information, not telling the right information
Yeah, yeah. There you
or
go.
inspiring the people in the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that would be a number that you would need to hear. Wouldn't you think
Mm-hmm.
you would want to hear that
I
number
know
that
that's right.
somebody's going well, that somebody's doing well? But of course, this is a mega industry of dealing with vaccines and things and the promotion. No one's ever talked about eating right.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from the top. You think, say, why don't we eat? Come out with a plan for better eating,
Yes.
Right.
organic gardens for cities, teaching in schools, adding as part of your curriculum. Even with corporate America implementing plans for eating proper
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
build your immune system. If you don't know about it, maybe you need to research that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's the one
Right.
thing that's not happening. Or there's even a lack of even desire to want to know. So that's why, it's good to know we got these numbers here. If you did not see that, that's NCOV, NCOV 2019. Go to that website. That is the most updated numbers that you can get anywhere in the world right now. That's
Mm-hmm.
NCOV2019.live. I do recommend that for everyone to check that out. That is an excellent site that has all the epidemiologist reports from all over the world. They go into one point. They're sort of brought through, put together by a 18-year-old. How about that? Ain't he a blessing?
I
See,
know
God
that's
will
right.
take the very small things and prepare it for the great things. So definitely we want to do that. All right, now let's see. Big B, we got some hands raised. Let's see. Let me get my hands raised over here. Who am I talking to today? And see who is raising their hands. Who's raising their hands? I got 7 over here, but I'm trying to get to them. All right, who's the first person that I have here? Let me go to the first page. I got Flo. Flo, you in the number 1 seat today.
All right,
How you
go
doing,
Flo, go
Flo?
Flo.
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Blessed.
I know that's right. Dr. Paul, you know how you get loose skin like under your neck?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you can do besides that to
Yeah, you talking about the
how can you
turkey?
make it tight?
The turkey neck.
The turkey neck?
Well, just aging neck.
Actually, you know what? That's sagging, just sagging skin, just like any other part of the body. It's losing what's called magnetism. Magnetism. And we have to go to things that actually increase and start to bring magnetism back to the muscles. That's what when you get flabby, whether it's under the chin, whether it's on the arms, how people get the chicken wing arms and stuff, or the legs, or on the back of the legs. That's all because the body's losing this thing called magnetism. Magnetism is the charge, a polarity charge of male and female principle. That's alkaline and acid, but it binds too. That's when you see somebody with the tight muscles, they got a lot of magnetism in them. So what is that? There's an excellent herb called comfrey. 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 Comfrey starts to regenerate magnetism in the body. And it does it because it's full of magnesium. It's also full of a lot of iron. It is a blood builder. It builds from the marrow of the bone. Not to diagnose, treat, kill, prevent any disease, just food for the soul, family, right? All right. So it is builds from the bone marrow, which from the bone marrow builds the blood cells or the blood and also bone density. So when that happens, that's what brings back the tightness in the skin. Okay? So comfrey has got a bad rap though. Comfrey got a bad rap because people were using it comfrey was being used for a lot of people because they were starting to have like knee problems, issues with meniscus tears, things like ACLs, even with the replacement of the knees and the hips. So they started to test this, and people were having great results from comfrey. And then they said, you know what? We're going to pull this off the market. So they started to pull it off the market because they found, usually, I'm going to tell you how this thing works first. Whenever there's something that's working very well, the way it's pulled off the market is that they over test it. So they found a study that basically they took mice and rats and gave it a lot of comfrey, and then they said, see, we showed damage in the liver, so you can't have it. So don't take it. And matter of fact, if you put it in something else, like another product, you can get that pull right off the shelf. And this is for all natural people who know who I'm talking about. They know exactly what I'm talking about here. So you cannot put comfrey in a product with something else. You can only have it by itself. Now, let me just tell you how this goes, though. See, even when they tell you something or put the information out, remember, sometimes the truth is not what they're telling you. What they didn't tell you is that when they gave the rats and the mice the comfrey, the number one thing that they expected to do was to destroy the liver. That's why all the studies say if it destroys the liver, it's bad for you. But here's the problem. It's always going to destroy the liver because remember what I tell y'all all the time. If you take any herbs, what's the number one thing you got to do? Come on, somebody. Drink water. Absolutely. Absolutely. So they never gave the rats or the mice any water. You got it? So it was absolutely going to function, get shut down. They knew that, but they used that for the purposes of taking a drug off the market. You got me? So if you have something that if you take any herb, it's going to go in and bind to the bacteria, virus, fungus, parasites, sepsis, cancers, whatever's going on in the body that needs to be pulled out. It's going to, connect to it, bind to it, wrap around it, arrest it. But now you got to do something. What you got to do? You got to flush me out.
Flush it out.
You got it. So they never do that. So all the reason why, people that they went after it, number one, they went after it because so many people were using comfrey and they were getting results. They used to use comfrey back in the ancient Israelites used to use it. What they used to do? They used to use it before they went into battle. Before they went into battle, they would take it and after, they've taken it for a long time as part of their diet, it makes your skin real tight. You remember I said magnetism, right? Tightens the skin, gives it almost like a rubbery thing. So literally when they went into battle, it was hard to cut them. It was hard to cut you because it would slide right off of you. Ain't that something?
Wow.
That's something, boy. So if y'all got somebody to say, I'm going to cut you, you said, I got my comfrey now. I got to cut you. You gonna say, no, I got my comfrey. So all right. So I say all that to say, I remember when I was first, I got so many testimonies about comfrey because when you go into some stores, they're all spooked about it. So they'll still sell you comfrey, but they'll only sell it to you individually. You got it? It'll be like in places like Penn Herbs and things like that.
Okay.
And it'll say, not for, now check this out, now write this down, not for
Consumer consumption.
internal use.
Yes.
Right? That's what it'll say, right? This is a herb, by the way. This is a herb, y'all. So not for internal use, but you can use it to bathe with.
Hey,
That makes sense.
Now this don't make sense. There, exactly. That don't make sense at all because if you can bathe with it, you're absorbing it faster by bathing in it than you would be by taking it as a tea.
Yes.
because it's absorbing through every organ in your body, which is the largest organ, which is what? Your skin.
Yes.
Come on, y'all. So that's why people start to now soak with comfrey. So you'll make a comfrey bath, or you can actually take the cheesecloth of the comfrey, or you can wrap the comfrey in like a cheesecloth or some kind of towel. Okay, after you steeped it, you can take the teas, wrap them in something, and then wrap it around your knee, wrap it around your shoulder, your joint, your muscles, sometimes the carpal tunnel, any of those wares right there. We have football players where we have the young football players who jam their necks a lot. What they do is they jam necks. So what we do is we do comfrey wraps and they put it around their necks, and it helps them to regenerate the neck again. So it's excellent for so many things. And then they want to take it off because you know why? Because people started not getting that hip surgery, not getting that knee surgery. They said, we got to talk about something. We got to figure something out. We got to get this thing off the mark. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it replenishes bones, joints, ligaments, connective tissue, all of those things. Comfrey is one of the most powerful herbs on the planet. It is one of the sacred herbs. So you got the three cycle herbs that I use that I talk about, which is the sacred herbs. One is golden seal.
Yes.
Another one is burdock root. The other one is comfrey. Those are ones that are the most powerful herbs you can keep in your rotation. And you can take it as a tea, very high in iron, magnesium, chromium. It's good for everything, y'all. Bone building, blood count, all of that stuff. So don't believe the hype. That's what I'm saying, Flo. All right?
Okay, so Penn Herb sells it as an extract, as a liquid. So what do you do? Put it on?
No. They sell it as a tea.
Oh, okay.
And guess what, y'all? It grows like crazy out in Fairmount Park.
Wow, y'all. It's wild out there, guys.
It's like crazy out in Fairmount Park. You hear me? You know, when it gets warm out, we're going to have the walks, the nature walks, because, nature walks are, social spacing, so we can do those, okay? So I'll let you know. We're going to have a social, distancing, of course, but we're going to do a nature walk. And I bring with my friend, Ross Ben. Y'all know Ross Ben, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to have Ross Ben on one day. And we do a nature walk to walk through to see all the food right out in Fairmount Park. Woo! Because guess what? If them markets start to close down, all us gonna be out in the park. Say, what's that right there? That look good right there. That look like a salad over there. Yes.
Well, don't say that too loud. Then they may shut the park down.
They gonna shut the park. They gonna have to. Well, we gonna break in there anyway. All right, Flo, you got me. So that would be one of the things that I would do. Comfrey will regenerate your energy. If you had somebody that came out of the hospital and need to get their strength back, that's what we call the might, or the herb of might, M-I-G-H-T. That's that comfrey. That comfrey is mean, y'all. And it got a bad rap, though. But I wanted y'all to hear that story. That the reason why, when you look at stories, and I'll tell people, you need the comfrey. And they say, well, when I looked it up, they say it's poisonous and you can't take it. I said, no. They wanted to get that thing off the market. So what you going to do? You're going to make it seem like it's poison. But nobody ever talked about giving water to the subject or any control study. Always you have to see, is there water being added? And then what kind of water? You got me?
There you go.
See, now y'all so geared up, man. I you know what? If y'all deal with some folks right now, y'all is so, man, let me tell you, y'all dangerous. some of y'all is dangerous. Y'all going out there like saying, look, all right, what kind of water you got?
I know.
No. That's why you so acid, because you got bad water. See, y'all checking them. And then people have to answer your question. You got me?
Yes, there you go.
So when you actually are sticking to the universal principles and laws of the universe, you got to obey them. You got it? But we've been breaking the rules. We just been sufficing with things that people say, well, I'm doing all the good stuff, Doc. And then I say, well, what is the good stuff? And then when I check down the good stuff, all the good stuff is all the bad stuff they've been doing. That's why they having all the problems. You remember,
know
the
that's
body
right.
only functions in a state of righteousness. You got to stay righteous. It cannot accept nothing that is not the truth. Holy and sanctified. So why are you gonna put a vaccine in your blood? Why are you
Well,
gonna do that? That's your most
well,
holy and sanctified place in your body. That's sacred. You got me? You gotta
Right.
protect that. You gotta protect that. And now I'm going to bring to you one of the things that they did not bring out in the studies. I'm going to get to that in a few at some point tonight. And I'm going to leave you with a couple of what we call breadcrumbs so that you can start to go and read up on these things and then let it lead you into the place where you can do your own research. Y'all, how about that? Y'all got that?
All
All
right.
right. Okay, we got Stacy. Thank you, Flo. Appreciate it. Good question.
Thank you.
All right, Stacy, you're on mute. I think she's on mute now. She's on the phone right now. I think Laverne. Let me
Oh,
go to. I'll come
no,
back
no,
to
no,
you.
no. I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, Stacey.
I'm glad you're doing good. Can I talk to you soon?
all right.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that. I was just talking to somebody from church. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Um, I had a question. And happy birthday.
Well, thank you very
All
much.
right.
I
All right.
appreciate that,
Yes,
y'all.
yes,
Yeah, boy, you happy.
Amen.
Happy birthday.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. All right.
Okay. One question I had, Al, what do you eat to curb carbohydrate cravings? That's one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is my dad is on like a regular regimen of some medications and things. And I don't want to overload him with like, okay, Dad, we're going to try this herb or we're going to try this thing. So what's like the simplest thing to introduce into his regimen that can just help start to build his immune system? Something
Sure. Sure.
simple or
Yeah, yeah. When you talk about, building an immune system, one, would that be that comfrey right there? That's a good one. The one to start
okay,
with right there. A
Right.
good comfrey tea. A good comfrey tea. Just take that comfrey tea. And
okay,
when we introduce the comfrey leaves, okay? Comfrey leaves.
okay,
You steep it 3 to 5 minutes in some hot water. Okay.
okay,
Very good for
Right.
women. Very, very, very good. If you've been diagnosed with something like anemia, things like that,
uh-huh,
comfrey tea is excellent for that.
okay,
If
Very good.
somebody tells you can't take something that grows out of the ground, something's wrong there. Something's
I
wrong.
know that's right.
Mhm.
All
And
right.
especially when you can trace it back to the culture of us,
Mhm.
you
Yes.
may
Yes.
not be able to trace it to your culture, but I can trace it back to my culture.
okay,
Got me?
All right.
All right. Don't let me get started, y'all. I'm sorry.
Okay. We won't.
He getting ready to get happy, y'all.
I get it.
I started about to go. I almost went left on
He,
you.
he, he almost getting ready to get happy.
Yeah,
Almost
listen,
went
man.
there. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
settle down on that, son.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right,
we
I'm
can
sorry.
go
I'm sorry.
back.
It's my birthday. I got excited. I'm sorry.
Can go back.
Okay. And then
So,
the other
the-
one was about carbs. I'm on a regimen now.
But
I don't
Audrey's
really
not going to
eat
sell that
any,
thing. Just leave it on
but
the
I'm
shelf.
Okay.
still like kind of,
It's been
the sweets and the chips and so what is
Yay.
something that can curb that?
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. Remember what carbs are. That's quick energy. Quick energy.
Right.
That's what you
Correct.
need, right?
We agree.
Carbs. You need those carbs. That's quick energy. But in most cases, the food doesn't have the real carbs. You need what's called complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates would be fruits and vegetables. You got it? That's what you would need. That's why who's the greatest refiners? We are.
We are.
So we actually unpack that thing. So when you have complexities means it's made up of a lot of different things. God's creation, the seen and the unseen, the discovered and the undiscovered,
Okay.
everything's in there. So your liver, pancreas, kidneys, all your vital organs, unpack that thing. And then that's how we do it. So that's why you need something that's complex. That's why the plant is alive. It's
Okay.
doing all those things. Now, when you start to have things that are just carbs but not complex, they're what? Malnutrition.
Right.
You got
Oh,
it?
boy.
Empty carbs. You heard me even people say they're
Right.
empty carbs,
Mhm.
right?
Boy.
So then, therefore, those things start to sit in the body and they get pushed aside because the body says, I don't even know what to do with this. I have no idea what to do
Chocolate
with
chip
this.
cookie.
I can't break this down. I don't have enough energy because carbs have the real energy, right? So I
Okay.
don't even know what to do with these. So I'm going to have to stuff this to the side and wait till I can get something else. Got it?
Okay.
All
So
right.
now the body starts to do some very what we say self-defense things. It's trying to keep you alive at all times, right? So what is it trying to do? It's trying to say, well, wait a minute. If you keep burning all these carbs and I'm going to have to, and you giving me empty carbs and there's not enough nutrients there, I'm running out of carbs. So I'm going to have to go into a self-defense mode. And guess what that self-defense mode is? I'm
Hold
going to
it
have to
back.
start. I'm going to have to stop. I'm going to have
Stop
to
eating
stop
something.
processing these carbs, and I got to switch my fuel source. So I'm not going to burn carbs no more. I'm going to switch, and I'm going to start burning fat. Fat for energy.
Wow.
But that means also I'm going to start storing up fat.
Yes.
So that means that your body technically believes you are starving.
Yes.
So because you don't have
Goes on
enough
to the
complex carbohydrates, right, which is the good energy. So I can't, if I keep moving on this carb thing, I'm going to run out of energy. So I better store up. So guess what the body does? Just like a polar bear, when the polar bear, goes into hibernation, the body they start to get they start to get fat, and they said, get nice and thick because he gonna be asleep for a while, right? So he's
right.
he getting nice and thick and fat and then plump because he gonna be. That's it. Don't that sound like some of us right there?
Yeah.
That sounds like some of us sitting around.
Yeah.
The wintertime, just sitting around watching TV, just getting off
my
bed.
phone.
Pumped up.
You better get off my phone, Dr. P.
Yeah.
I'm telling the
We
truth.
just getting pumped, Miss Plump, because the body's saying, what the body's saying? I don't have enough energy.
Yes.
So
Yes,
I'm going to
enough.
store up. I'm going to store up
Store
this
it up.
fat, and I'm going to burn this fat. But here's the thing. Fat burns slow, so we'll survive longer. It believes you're starving. It's in a self-defense mode. It believes you on a starving island somewhere and ain't got no food. So it kicks into a mode to say, I'm going to start to survive, keep you in survival mode. So I'm going to burn this stuff slow, but it's going to be fat, burning fat for energy. And then that's when you got those things called the keto diets and stuff like that. And they start telling people to burn fat for energy. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No.
If you burn fat for energy, that is the slowest energy you have ever seen.
Wow.
Because it's slow energy. There's no energy there. Only in complex carbohydrates you got that. So that means that when you start to do that, we look in your blood and or your urine, I'm sorry. We look in your urine and we can find these things called ketones.
Right.
Got it? And in the
Okay.
ketones, that means you're burning fat for energy. And that means when somebody talking, like Rev or somebody, or you had a function or something, you like, amen, amen. Amen. He said, yeah, I'm here, I'm listening. You slipping and dipping. That's right. You slipping and dipping. And that's because you have unstable energy because you're not getting complex carbohydrates. Now, I'm going to take it one more level. Take it one more level deep because we got to keep it going. The other level deep is that the complex carbohydrates are being denatured with the conventional fruits and vegetables. Got it?
Okay.
So you're not getting the real complex carbohydrates. So the body still says, I'm starving. I still don't have what I need. And you got to give me something because I'm going to keep storing up this fat. And that's why people say, doggone it, I'm doing everything I can do, but I can't lose this weight. And that's why we say, what do you have to do? You got to switch the body back from burning fat back to what? Back to burning what? Carbohydrates. Now, how do you do that? How would you do that?
Back to that old
Just eat the
thing.
fruits and vegetables.
You got to find complex carbohydrates that are in the sources of, that's why we use the green drinks, land and sea. You got me? That's why the green drink is so powerful. Because it starts to now send the signal to the body that, hey, we got enough energy. Well, guess what? We can let go of this fat now. We ain't got to hold on to this fat. And then it starts to now flip it back over. Now the fat falls off your body so fast it makes your head spin.
Wow. Wow.
I had a testimony. Let me tell you a testimony because you can hold on to this story.
Okay.
I had a
Okay.
sister
What do you
one
got?
time. I'm doing the women's group one time. I was over at I can't remember. I think I was at the at a function. I can't remember where I was at a church,
all
and I
right.
was
You were
giving.
there.
Yeah, I was there. I was there. And then I was doing this class, and I was breaking down how you got to balance your pH, make sure your water's right, and you got to get those green drinks in because that's telling the
gotta
body
get-
I got enough nutrients so you don't have to now store up. Got me? So I told this sister, I was telling the class, and
Yeah,
as
tell her.
I'm writing the stuff on the board, and the sister comes in the back, she comes in there. That's right, Dr. Paul. Tell him, Dr. Paul. She co-signing on everything I'm saying. I was like, okay,
Hey,
who is this in the back? I don't know who this is. She back there. That's right. Tell me, sisters, y'all better listen. Y'all better listen. She's just pumping and she's going in the back. I said, you know what? I don't even know who this is right now. So after it was over. After it was over, she comes up to the class. She says, you don't even know who I am. I said, I have no idea who you are. And she says, I came to you about 9 months ago, and you told me if I balance the pH, I've got my water right, and I started to feed the body and let the body now start to feed itself. Now you don't have to store up fat. That fat would fall off me so fast, it would make my head spin. And she said, now I know it worked because I even fooled you. So she told me who she was. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. In front of me, this person had lost so much weight, I didn't even recognize who she was.
Wow. Wow.
She says, everybody at her job is hating on her right now.
See?
They said they think I had the lap band surgery and all the other suctions. Like she said, I ain't did none of that. I just basically fed the body. It corrected itself, and the weight just fell off.
There you go.
You got me?
There you go.
Because now the body's saying, I got it what I need, so I can now not have to store up this fat. And now when that came, guess what? That weight went off her so fast. Now you start burning that quick energy, and that's when you get that cut. You know that cut? You ever see those football players when they all cut up and they'll say, man, they must be exercising every day. Chiseled, right?
I heard that.
That comes from them getting the highest level of complex carbohydrates. That's where it's coming from. That's what it is. Fruits and vegetables. That's what they do. High density fruits and vegetables. That's also for you ladies. You know, if you are having a situation where if you're eating a lot of meat and you're not getting enough complex carbohydrates, then the body, it can't break down all of that meat and all that excess and all that processed food and all that unprocessed or what we call processed carbohydrates, which is not real food. So it got all this leftover sludge that I can't break down. So guess what I'm going to do? Body says I can't break it down. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to stuff it in the flesh and go with, guess what that's called? That's called cellulite.
Wow.
You got it?
Wow.
That's what cellulite is.
Okay. Okay.
So my question is, how then do you get rid of cellulite?
Oh, please, have.
Oh man, I'm about to start something up in here now.
Help me now.
That's the fat that you really,
What?
Oh, that's the horrible fat.
You're gonna cleanse.
That's the undigestible, unbroken down fats. You got it? Now you know where it's coming from.
Wow.
That means that that's from the ingestion of too much meat in the diet, and it's unprocessed, unbroken down. So it doesn't have enough energy, so it's going to stuff it in the flesh. So how do you get rid of that? Something very, very simple. High what?
Intensity training thing.
No.
I don't know what.
It needs energy, complex carbohydrates.
Okay.
That's what the green drinks will do.
Okay.
You got it? That's exactly what they'll do. The green drinks will get rid of that, and you'll start to see yourself tighten up. If you juice, that's why people were juicing. Y'all remember Jack LaLanne? Y'all remember Jack LaLanne, right?
Yes.
He was 90-something years swimming the English Channel and something. I mean, he was doing some incredible stuff. You know,
Yeah.
and you say
Wow.
to yourself, he stayed lean even when he was older in his 90s. I mean,
Yes.
this guy
Right.
was phenomenal.
Yeah.
How did he
was.
do that? But you remember he came up with some of the first juicing machines. You remember the
Certainly
first
did.
juicing
Most certainly
machines?
did.
Sure did.
So he was a strong advocate of complex carbohydrates, getting that organic foods. When you're looking at the difference between conventional and organic, they're miles apart. The
Yes,
the
yes.
ratio is 4 to 6 to 1. That means you got to eat 4 to 6 conventional to every 1 organic. That's crazy.
Yes. Dr. Cole, I got something for you here. What about these folk who have calling themselves vegetarians, but they're using and consuming a lot of these substitute meats?
Yeah, well, those not going to get you where you want to get. You
But
know,
that is my point. That is why I'm
yeah.
asking the
See,
question.
remember with the protein, the only a plant
Wow.
can
Yes.
grab the nitrogen out the air,
Right.
which is the building blocks for creating the amino acids, which are
Uh-huh.
the proteins in the body.
Right.
So that's why only a plant can produce protein.
Okay.
Got it? And that the largest animals in the animal kingdom are what? They're what?
They're
Vegetarians.
That's
You
right.
got it? You got what? You got the elephant, you got the giraffe, you
Yes.
got the what else?
The hippopotamus.
The hippopotamus.
Yeah.
Oh,
What else? You got the what else?
Rhino.
Rhino.
They
The
talking about
nasty
big-
horse.
big-
Yeah, y'all forgot about the gorilla. Ain't nobody in here
The
messing with no
gorilla.
gorilla.
Yes.
yeah. Big
I
pigs.
guarantee you that
Oh.
one. That gorilla will throw you way across the room
Wow.
somewhere across the street.
I know that's right.
Yeah. That's
All
the truth.
right.
And you
That's
and you gonna sit here and tell me where in the world does he get his protein from? Being that strong,
Okay.
coming from plants. You got me?
Yeah.
You got me? That's what it is. It's from plants. So you get it from plants. And the only reason that the meats that you eat, when they tell you you got to have protein, the only reason that they have protein is because the animal eats the plant. That's it.
Yeah.
You got me?
The Clydesdale
So
horses.
it doesn't make sense. So those things that people do with the proteins and things like that is the highest source is always going to be plant-based protein. Got
There
it?
we go. Okay.
Always remember that, family. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see who else we got here. Big B, you got somebody else in the chat room over there?
Well, there was one up here. Well, I think she came on and asked a question a while ago. It was about bone broth.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, again, you're going into things that help to, and don't get me wrong, the collagens and things like that are found in bone broth, which are good for connective tissue, things like that, for bone density, and that's just what people have always known to do is to get it from, the bone broths and things like that. So that's okay, that's understood. But I'm telling you what the source for it is coming from, things like that comfrey. The alfalfa. Alfalfa is another powerful one.
Right.
These are powerful herbs that grow deep in the earth. The alfalfa grows, if you look at the Guinness Book of World Records, the alfalfa plant, the longest alfalfa plant, it only grows as high. Anybody from the South, by the way? Anybody from the South? Anybody
Well,
from the South?
My
You look at
relative.
it
Ain't nobody in here from the
Georgia.
South?
My
From
relative,
Georgia.
too.
All right. So if you got some land down south, you might have some alfalfa growing on there.
Yeah.
Alfalfa may grow as high as your knee, right? Knee
Yes,
to the
yes.
shin. But guess what? That root goes way down there.
Yes,
They have the Guinness Book of World Records has the highest alfalfa as being growing 1,000 feet deep.
Wow.
Wow.
Now that's deep.
Did y'all hear that?
That's deep.
Could you imagine the guy pulling that up? He like, yo, man, I
That's
thought you
deep.
think this thing gonna stop?
Wow.
That thing, yes, 1,000 feet deep. They call it the intelligent plant. That's where it gets its name, the intelligent plant.
Yeah,
That's where the Little Rascals. Y'all remember the Little Rascals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why you think alfalfa? He had that little thing that
Little thing
stick
on
up in
top
his
of his
head
head.
like this.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and it was almost like he was the intelligent one, and then it was a little that going on, y'all. I'm
Yes,
just gonna
yeah.
say, y'all, because when you see buckwheat, that's exactly his hair, exactly how
Well,
buckwheat grows.
You better stop.
All right, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna pull back.
I have a lot of neighbors that grow alfalfa near me, but here's my question about that. I am thinking that some of my neighbors, because many of them are farmers, right?
Yes.
Are they being emulsified by what do we call this, non genetically modified air.
Wow, you know what? It's interesting you say that because the places down south that have been infected by this GMO, it was genetically modified organism. Okay.
Yes.
And the company's called Monsanto. Everybody knows Monsanto because they got sued.
Right.
They got sued not too long ago, and when they got sued, it was about the whole purpose was because they were genetically modifying the foods, and with that, they started to find it on different places. Now, here's the problem: when they started genetically modifying the foods, they went out to the farmers and said, "Hey, you know what? We have some seeds here." And inside the seed, we already have the pesticides. So you can basically just plant this and you don't have to buy any more pesticides. So of course, every farmer was like, hey, that's great. I don't have to buy. That's going to save me a lot of money. But the devil is in the details, right? So they planted the seeds, bought the seeds, planted the seeds, and now didn't buy pesticide for that year. So now there's two harvests, right? The first harvest is the crop harvest.
Yes.
And the next one's the seed harvest. So they started grabbing the seeds, and next thing you know, they were about to start sowing the seeds, and then the guy come back and say, whoa. Said, you can't you're not going to be able to plant those. And they said, well, what do you mean I can't plant them? They said you can't plant those because they now belong
to us. Amen.
And technically, because you sold them, now I own your land.
Yes.
Oh,
We lost a lot of farmers in Indonesia like that.
Technically, that's why the black farmer has lost. He's lost less than 1% of farmland in America. It was because of it. So now here's the problem. See, remember, anything that can be patented is something that has never been created ever in this whole thing called life. So if you can prove that this thing is something that has an intrinsic value that has never been created, that I created, that was never here before, then you can patent it.
Yes.
So that's what the whole concept of the GMO is.
Yes.
So they actually came back and said, well, look, we can sue you, or you can join us.
There you go.
And then that's what happened.
Yes.
So that's where a lot of people lost their land.
Yes.
A lot of farmers lost their land.
A lot of folk in New Jersey
started to do it. Yep, absolutely. And then there's the other factor is that some people who just said, well, I'm going to stay organic. I don't need your seeds. I didn't heard about y'all from Farmer Joe down the street. I'm okay. I'm good. Well, that guy, they came to him and said, well, look, you don't want it, but guess what? If we find it on your land, we're gonna come in after you.
There you go.
You got me? So they found, and then what happens is whether this happens, it's going to happen naturally anyway, because the cross-pollination between bees and the monarch butterflies are going to cross-pollinate anyway. They're going to go into those places, and just the blowing of seeds themselves.
Wow.
How far do y'all believe a corn seed blows? Anybody know? A corn seed can blow
miles.
5,000 miles?
It can blow up to 500 miles.
Yes.
Wow.
500.
Yes.
You got me? So what happens to the person that says, well, I'm going to stay non-GMO? And next thing you know, that stuff is everywhere. Yes. Now, that's regular wind. What happens when you get a hurricane or a tornado?
Yes.
Wow.
You got me? That spins it all over the entire United States. So that's why they're saying that all the crops have been modified to some degree. Even down in Mexico where they actually have maize. They call it maize down there, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, they were even telling them, they said, well, we don't want that down here. And we're going to fight to make sure y'all stay out of here. And then they told them the same thing. Well, wait a minute. If we find it down there, we coming after you. Right?
Yes,
and they were very, very strict on not putting GMOs in the maize. But guess what happened? They tested the maize, and it was full of it.
It's in there.
Oh, my.
It's in there.
Yep.
It's
full
called
of
wind.
And it's called the wind. It's called
Yes.
cross-pollination. It's
Cross-pollination.
called all
There we
this
go.
thing. It's nature itself is
Yes.
going to procreate. It's going to
Yes.
go everywhere, you know. So with all that said and done, you have to get your fight really is for good quality food that
Yes.
is organic, that has been non-GMO. You got it? So that's what happens with the seeds. So that's where the whole GMO thing came from. That's why farmers are losing their land. The first ones they eliminated was called the seed, was the what was called the seed man. Y'all ever heard of seed man? Well, the seed man was the one that if you had a bad crop, he would come around in his truck, you know, come around his truck, say, seed man, seed man. You know, he was the one that if you had a bad crop, he would refresh you with fresh seeds.
Seeds. Yes.
You got it? Well, he was the first one to eliminate because he was the one stopping them from doing what they were doing. So, yes, that's what's happening.
You remember you gave us assignment a while ago, and I just did it. The bees. Watch that thing you told us to watch on the bees.
Yes.
I'm upset because it was amazing.
Yes.
Now is I forgot his name. Is he still selling his honey?
Yes, he is. He's still, you know, we're in the
Because it's
winter
a
months,
lot.
of course. You know, he's still in the winter month. He has been under the weather though, you know, because yes, he has been. You talking about General McIntyre? Yep. General McIntyre. General McIntyre is one of our Buffalo Soldiers. He's our general, which is the Buffalo Soldiers, and he's an apiarist. So he has his own bees. You know, that was one of his gifts. You know, his wife gave him for his 80th birthday. How about that? She gave him a bee farm. He don't look 80 at all. He don't look 80 at all. And he's doing much better. Last time I talked to him, I got to check up on him. But the documentary that you're speaking about, and y'all can write this down, it's called Vanishing of the Bees.
Yes.
Vanishing of the Bees.
You're gonna be upset when you look at it.
You're going to be upset. Yes. So what does this mean? This means that we have to go back into protecting the environment that you're living in. You know, ask those questions. You know, what's in this food? You know, has it been modified? You know, in America, there is no mandatory labeling laws. So basically they can do anything they want to do and not have to worry about, you know, labeling what's on there. So that's where our challenge is. You know, there was the GMOs, actually what they do with the bees, the vanishing of the bees comes from the fact that they know that it causes neurological problems in the bee. Now you probably sitting back there going like, okay, Doc, come on now. How can you tell me that this makes bees crazy? Well, it makes them crazy because when the bees land on the actual GMO, there's this thing called neonics. And these neonics are the things that when the bee eats them, it starts to act erratic. And bee flies off, okay? Because you know what the bee's doing. They're busier than bees, right? So what they do, they go out to all of the floral and they collect all the nectar and bring it back to the hive, right?
There you go.
But here's what happens. When they landed on the GMOs or the plants that were GMOs, it messes with their neurological compass. So now they can't find their way back home. They just yo, I made a left right here, and then I go, wait a minute, where am I?
It makes them high.
Not high, discombobulated. They lose their compass, their directions, their navigation system. See, bees have this thing. It's actually going back to melanin, really. I'm just going to tell y'all what it really is. It's connected like birds know how to go north and south also. Or how birds and animals know where to go during certain times of the season. It's a neurological compass that's inside of animals. It's amazing. Even dogs and cats, they all have it. We have it, but we don't do it. We don't use it anymore. We've been desensitized.
Yes.
So
yes,
the
yes.
bees actually literally were like dying way out in the field. They would go out in the fields and find like thousands upon thousands of just dead bees, just all in different patches all over the place. Couldn't find their way back. And they knew right then it was that GMO. Even so that in one year in California, they lost so much of their almond crop
Yes.
and the bees died so much that they had to fly in bees from they had to fly in millions of bees into California to save the almond crop.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
It's amazing stuff, y'all. You got it? So that's why if that's messing up the neurological compass of the bee, what is that doing to you?
I know that's right.
Wow.
This has everything to do with you.
Yes.
They say, wow, I don't know why you so crazy.
Wow. That's the
Are
way
you
it-
listening to me?
That's the way it be.
Is
Dr. Paul.
anything getting through your head? Yeah, you arguing with somebody and they like,
What? Has he
said-
lost his
said
mind?
that boy done lost his mind.
Wow.
You got me? Or I can't.
Now that
The other thing, somebody's getting way out there. Either that or somebody might say, I can't remember nothing. I can't remember nothing. Every time I try to remember something, I can't remember nothing. Go in the room, say, what I come in here for?
Well.
Oh, man, I don't know what's going on. You know, not Alzheimer's, but sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes I can remember, sometimes I can't. Yep. So what does that mean? I want you to just understand that you got to get the real food. And thank you, Cynthia. That was a good question. All right. All right. Let me go down the line. I got Troy on the line. Troy?
Hey, good morning, good afternoon. Good evening, doctor. How you doing tonight?
I am doing well, Troy.
Awesome. Quick question. I know some time ago when I first was doing a lot of weight training, I was introduced to what's called digestive enzymes for different things. They have the protease for breakdown of proteins. Amylase was breaking down grains and fruits, and also cellulose, which is actually for fruits and vegetables as well. Are these things feasible to digest fruits and vegetables if they say that your body can't, let's say, for instance, your body can't produce cellulase? Well, do we still take fruit without it, or was he still eating fruit and vegetables without these enzymes?
Right. We had a class on all the body types, and I'll have to do that class again, Bill. The three body types. We talked about the protease, the amylase, the amylin, and the different ones that you have, and that some people have the ability to break down certain carbs and not be able to break down fats and other things. So yes. That does matter with some people, yes. But keep in mind, you have to be prebiotic, not probiotic. You got it? You are the probiotic. That means if you feed the body the proper amount of nutrients, which is the prebiotic, which is the hydrogen-based greens, phytonutrients, land and sea, that is your prebiotic. You produce the probiotic. And then the reason why the probiotic industry took off so well because of the what they're doing to the foods. So they started to look to things like the acidophilus and yogurts and things like that, and then all the fermented foods and things like that. But that counteracts what's really going in the body that's best for you. It's best to be prebiotic. So that means if you know that you have that, so you have to, we have to do a breakdown over that because it gets a little intricate for each individual, but that's where the assessment comes in. When the person comes in and they sit down, we can tell you exactly how to break down, what's best for you as far as the greens and things like that, certain types of food, nutrients, if there are things missing, if there's ketones showing, if there's things that are out of balance. So that's the way we correct that. But I would start, though, with the green drinks. That's where the green drinks come in. All right?
Okay.
Is he still there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still there.
Yeah, I would start with the green drinks, Troy, because that's the maximum nutrients that you're going to get, and also the digestive enzyme. Now, the digestive enzymes you may see, it comes from ox biles and things like that. I would say if you're going to get those, you want to get them from things like papaya, or some form of fruit or herbal base. Okay, is what I would recommend.
Okay.
So for example, you can buy papaya, and there's also actually, you know what you can do? What's really good for digestion, believe it or not,
Well, what?
is raw cabbage. Raw cabbage. You got it? Raw cabbage, not fermented cabbage. That would be sauerkraut, right? We talking about just straight, just juice, some cabbage, raw cabbage. That's excellent for the digestive system. Also, aloe vera gel. Aloe vera gel is good for the digestive system. Helps you start to digest food properly. Okay, sort of resets the body in the digestive tract.
Okay.
Also, watch, if there's one last thing, Troy, watch the lectins. Okay, watch the lectins. Lectins come from beans, nightshades, grains, things like that. Because some people have a problem breaking those down.
Okay.
If you're going to do beans, how do y'all do beans? Y'all know how to prepare beans? Anybody in here know how to prepare them?
Very carefully.
Pressure cooker. Pressure cooker. That's
Yeah.
correct. Pressure cooker. That's what you would do, because you have to denature the lectin, which is the protective property that the plant is creating to protect its seedlings. So it creates that, and that sort of gunks over your villa, and that's what stops you from absorbing your nutrients. So you don't want that to happen. So that's why you would denature it by pressure cooking. All right. All right, Troy. Thank you, man. Good question, man. But definitely, I would need assessment to sit down with you to be exact. Okay.
Well, I plan on doing that soon. Trust me.
Okay, gotcha. All right, we got Laverne.
Yeah, there you
Yes,
go.
sir. Happy birthday to you again. And I
Well,
hope,
thank you so much. I appreciate you.
which birthday is this?
22.
Which one? It's the one, same one last year.
That's a dream,
And
Laverne.
I also hope that we get a chance to meet your lovely family.
Yes, thank you.
If possible.
Okay.
I want to talk about the brain,
Okay.
the remembering. I used to be an LPN nurse,
Uh-huh.
a retired LPN nurse. And I could do multitask. I can wait on 40, 50 patients, distribute the medication, and keep going and on and on. But now I've slowed down so much. And they got Focus Factor on the market. They have Prevagen. Or which foods do we eat to help that memory?
Yeah, you got a lot of good stuff out there for memory. Don't go with the ones with the jellyfish stuff. I think that's the one you talking about, the Prevagen. One of them, there's one that's talking about getting it from jellyfish. No, family, don't go there.
Okay, so
Do y'all even know what a jellyfish does? I mean, I got to sidebar this one. What does a jellyfish do?
It's nasty. It's
it
nasty.
slows you down.
It's nasty.
No, it stings.
It's nasty.
Okay, all right.
It's nasty.
Sometimes y'all sound like the peanut gallery in here.
That's nasty.
Hey.
Oh, help me.
Okay, y'all hilarious. Y'all are funny. Okay, remember, always remember that everything has a purpose.
Yes.
Got it? I don't care what, even if you don't understand it, it has a purpose in this whole ecosystem. And you remember we talk about, shellfish and what shellfish do, right?
Yes,
Shellfish is for the cleaning of the ocean, right?
Yes,
It cleans up all of the bacteria, the poop, everything that falls down there. That's why they're arthropods. They do all that,
Yes.
right? And then there's these other ones called
Let us pray.
jellyfish.
Yes.
Now, the jellyfish has another job. See, all I see is God. That's all I see.
Well,
It's like everybody has a job to do.
yes.
And the jellyfish is saying, hey, I was made just like you. I'm trying to keep the thing clean for you. Got it?
Yeah.
All done for the betterment and beautification of this planet for you, for us as humans, right? So the jellyfish's job is to take the most deadly of bacterias and things and microorganisms in the entire ocean.
Yes.
And we got to pull that out. That's why the tentacles are going all like this,
Nasty.
all throughout the ocean. Ain't that
Nasty.
wonderful?
What I say? Nasty.
And y'all see God. If you can't see God, you ain't
You
looking.
can't
I'm
see
trying
him.
to tell you. And whenever you see somewhere where there's a lot of jellyfish,
Uh-oh.
That means it's a
It's
lot of bad stuff out
A lot
there.
of filth out there.
It's a lot of filth. It's a lot of
Yes.
deadly microorganisms out there. And that's what they feed off of. But that's their job. They just float in the water, don't they? They just sit there and they just float and they pull all that stuff out of there. You got it?
Yes.
That's their job. They take the most, and I'm very clear about this one, the most deadly ones. That's why he has what else? God says, look, he gonna be having probably the most important one to do because he got to keep stuff clean too.
Yes.
So I gotta protect him. Y'all can't mess with him.
Yes.
They're gonna mess with the shellfish. I know they're gonna mess with him, but don't mess with him. So I'm gonna put a stinger on him.
There you go. Yes,
Wow.
sir. That'll take
I'm gonna put a stinger on him.
That will take.
So if you mess with him, he gonna say, "Look, I'm over here working, man. Get away from me." Don't that make sense?
Yeah.
Don't that make sense? See, it all makes sense when you're thinking like godly people.
There you
Got me?
There you go.
That's a big problem. When you're not thinking like godly people, you're not thinking holistically about everything working together, and you just looking for, stab and grab, and it's about you, and it's get, and all that stuff. That's the life that we live now. We get away from the holistic concept of what God's plan is for us, which is for all of us to work together. So you got even the microorganisms on this planet and the things that are operating in the oceans and the seas and the things that are in the air, all working on your behalf. Whew, that is awesome, y'all. That's awesome. You can't see that. You got to see that. So that is why I say you got to make sure you know what you're dealing with and what you're eating. So if you're doing things for the memory, don't get something from now you getting memory from, you're getting something from a jellyfish, which after I just told you what he does.
Nasty.
You got me?
Yeah.
You got it. That's going to make you more crazy. So anyway, I'm going to give you a formula. I'm going to give y'all this formula that I'd say there's a lot of different herbs that I recommend, not to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease, is food for the soul, but these are herbs that are for the brain. But you definitely, dehydration is a big part of that. So you got to make sure you're hydrated, okay? Because the brain can't function with dehydration. And then your nutritional level has to be high. So that means you got to get a green drink, because when you don't have enough energy, you can't sleep right. And that's going to throw your sleep patterns off. Next thing you know, you're going to be sitting up all night, TV watching you.
Oh, that's right.
So what's happening, you got to stop to do that, because you're messing up your circadian rhythm. You got it? You're messing up your rhythm. And now you falling asleep in the middle of the day. You like this. 1, 2 o'clock, you slipping and dipping, you going like this, and you wondering what's going on. And that could be dangerous, because you might be driving, or you may have a job that involves operating equipment or something. So that's bad. You got it? So there is a formula that I recommend with the herbs that I always talk about individually, but you can buy it in one formula. And it's in a formula called Mind Care. Mind Care. And it's by a company called Himalayan. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. I'll get the picture for you, okay, family? And
what's it called again? Mind Care?
Mind Care. Yes, by a company called Himalayan. I'm gonna pull one here. Wait a minute. Matter of fact, I believe there is a website for this. Hold on. Here it is right here. Got it right here. I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna share the screen so you can all take a look at it, okay? But this is the one formula that we recommend, and it is also it's sold out on here. But you can go to Wayne Avenue Health Food Store, and you can, I believe also, I did mention it to Mr. Pollock over at Pollock Herbs. But you can also find it at Penn Herbs. Penn Herbs does have it, or they keep it too. But I would call all these stores before you do anything, okay? So let me share the screen for you. I want to show you what the Mind Care looks like, all right? Give me a second. Let me know when you can see it, okay?
Yes.
You see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the mind care right there. And as
Took
you
a
can
picture.
see, yes, take a snapshot if you have to.
I did.
Last time I
Let me take
snapshot, I
that
got
off of there.
disconnected. I'm not gonna do that.
Okay. All right. So you see, it is for mental sharpness and
Yes.
focus,
Yes.
supports memory and cognitive wellness. So it goes into those herbs that I highly recommend for. There's a lot of them in here, but here's the key ones that I highly recommend: Bacopa,
Okay.
Gotu Kola,
Mm-hmm.
and Ashwagandha. Okay. Those are the three right there. Now, I can also tell you that when people are struggling with things like depression, anxiety,
Ah,
um, fear, just stress, you know, somebody getting on your last African American Cherokee,
Well,
Igbo,
glory.
Yoruba.
Help us, Father.
You got
COVID
me.
virus.
This is what we use to help with getting the pineal gland back into balance. Got it? It's excellent. It's an excellent, the one that I highly recommend, that Bacopa. That Bacopa is excellent. Bacopa is an aquatic. It comes in both land and sea. So what does that do? That gives you the ability for focus. It's an excellent focus one. All right. All right. Let me come out of here real quick.
Dr. Paul.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Whole
Is
Foods carry it.
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods does carry it. Yeah, Whole Foods carries it.
Yep.
But like I said, because of COVID, y'all got to check first. I would check first. Always call these herb stores before you go up there, okay? And because you want to make sure that you have, a lot of these things are becoming very hard to get, because just they're not stocking up like they normally do. But Bicopa is in there. Go to Cola's in there. There's a list of about probably 20 other herbs that are in there, that go into deep. Let me see if I can pull them up.
But Dr.
And
Paul, while you're doing that, is MCT good for the brain?
yeah, MCT.
Okay.
MCT is good also. MCT is specifically showed results for people with things like Alzheimer's and dementia.
Okay.
So MCT with coconut oil. Okay. Plus coconut oil. See, coconut oil has MCT in it. So they add extra MCT to the coconut oil. And what you would do is just take a little of the coconut oil and add it to your cereal in the morning. Put it over fruit. Take a tablespoon of it. And what it does, it helps to deal with transferring energy across what's called the blood-brain barrier. And when people could not get it there because they didn't have the proper amount of ketones, properly balanced sugar, couldn't break it down, couldn't get it there, the medium chain triglycerides, that's what MCT stands for. Medium chain triglycerides. Got it? That's
It's
what
weird.
gets it
I've
there.
been taking it and didn't even know. I knew it was for the brain, but I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
some of the greatest, some of the best, some of the best results they've found have been in people. Like, for example, they do what's called the clock test. I don't know if I mentioned this before. Did I mention this to before? The clock test. You remember the clock test? So, if you know someone who may be suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's, we test them, and it's called the clock test. So you give them a pen and a pad, and you tell them to draw a clock. Okay, draw a clock. That means the circle, put the numbers all the way around in the correct order, put the dot in there, and then draw the hands. Anywhere, doesn't matter. And when they saw people that had Alzheimer's and dementia, they couldn't even do that. They were drawing lines and scribbly lines, and they couldn't even complete the circle, or they couldn't even get the numbers, or the numbers were backwards, or they were going in different directions and things like that. So there was a lot of problems there. So what they started doing is they started giving them the MCT with the coconut oil, and they did it over a long period of time, like maybe about within about 6 to 9 months or a year. and that person started showing improvement to the point where they started getting their short-term memory back. You know, so a lot of this is hardening of the arteries in the brain.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
that's for long-term and short-term memory.
Yep, that's correctly. In most cases, it's the short-term memory that's affected. That's when the arteries get hardening in the arteries, which happens to a lot of those that are that are diabetic. You know, arteriosclerosis, some form of hardening of the arteries in the brain. That means the neurons can't connect. So what happens is the medium chain triglycerides, you know, feed the body constantly and get it to where it needs to get to. Got it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And then now I could also say that, you know, the reason why things like CMOS works well is because it has long chain triglycerides,
There you are. Yeah.
which means it draws stuff out. So that pulls a lot of sludge out of the body. Move slow, long chain triglycerides. So it's like we call it a dragnet.
Yes.
Like a dragnet pulls all
It's
that
hard
garbage
to find
out.
the CMOS.
Yeah, so CMOS, that's why CMOS is doing so well right now. It's the long chain triglycerides that are in there that are pulling this stuff, and it pulls all the way through. You got it? It does
So,
one.
So, Dr. Paul, can you take the mind care if you're taking, you know, you're on a regimen of other herbs that you have to
Well, you always got to know what you're taking at all times. You know, you don't want to overlap. You know,
Exactly.
you never want to overlap. That's why we say get an assessment. I just wanted to introduce you to this formula right here. This is what a lot of people who are, you know, may have been on some kind of depressant medication, antidepressant, or some kind of what's called psychotropics.
Yes.
You know, which
Yes.
or have been diagnosed with some
Big one.
kind of schizophrenia or some kind of something going on. They move towards this is one of the ones that people are using, and it's showing a lot of good results. You know, I would say definitely. We always say not to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease, just food for the soul. You always get an assessment to know where you are and to find out if it's good for you. But always have a transparency between yourself and your doctor, okay, or your healthcare provider, okay.
Well, I had an assessment. It's Maxine from New York.
But we gotta sit down and break it down. You know, each individual situation, what you're taking, how you're taking it, things like that. So
I was mostly asking for someone else, not for me. I'm good, thank God, right now.
Yeah, it does wonders with people. You know, of course, you got this thing with marijuana right now. You know, of course, you know, the
big one.
cannabinoids and things like that. And a lot of people are taking that for antidepressant things like that. But remember, family, this is where you got to remember. Okay, I always got to remember. You always have to go back to what is real. Remember, I said the body only works as a righteous temple. Got it? Yes, the cannabinoids are good for you. They're good for anti-inflammatory. They're good for a lot of things. But here's the problem. I remember I always have the young folks come to me. You know, they say, Dr. Paul, you saying smoking weed is bad? I thought that's a herb. I thought that's a herb. And I say... and I gotta tell them every time, yes, it's an herb, but all the way up to the point. Who's that? Let's walk.
Guys, whoever that is, just please,
come on, mute yourself, y'all. Mute yourself. Come on, y'all. Be married. If you're gonna talk, mute. Got it? Who is that? I can't find them. But anyway, if you are, remember, it's a herb all the way till you put fire to it.
Yeah.
Now you just turned it into a chemical.
Uh-oh.
It is a chemical now. And now that releases the THC, which now suppresses the endocrine system. Your endocrine system is what feeds you. That's what fires off your hormones. You got it? That's what makes your body feed itself. That's the pineal, the pituitary, the hypothalamus, thyroid, parathyroid, all the way down to your pancreas, your adrenal glands, down to the sex organs. That's the system that's working like a serpentine fire, they call it. So what's happening is you're stopping that thing from moving now, and it separates the spirit man from the mind and the body. So technically, when you take that and the THC fires off, now the body suppresses itself from feeding you. That's why when everybody's sitting around smoking weed, they say, man, anybody got something to eat up in there? Everybody got the munchies. I'm hungry, man. That's because your body just stopped feeding itself.
Yes,
You got it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you understand that? You just changed it into a chemical. Remember, smoke is not to be inhaled into the lungs. It's not for the purpose of the lungs. And I know they got the hookah, they got all the stuff out there. I get it all, y'all. I tell you, I get everybody. So, yeah, whether it's cigars, smoke, whatever. If your lungs were for smoking, you can run into a burning building and have a good old time.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
God didn't put
Not for consumption, because as soon as that goes into your lungs, it immediately goes into your bloodstream, causes poison, inflammation of the bronchial tubes. So that can actually now cause chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, things like that. So that's why we say be careful, when you're hearing a lot of stuff. Yeah, we had ancestors that smoked the peace pipe and all that. But that was something different. Now what you got is not even real. This stuff is straight chemicals.
Yes,
this is
indeed.
like, when somebody smokes a cigarette, I hope nobody in here smokes, of course. I'm talking about the other folks, right? We
I know you.
Just telling on y'all. All right. But when you are smoking, there's over 3,000 different deadly chemicals in a cigarette.
Yes.
And when you fire it, you just turn them all into carcinogens.
It's a bullet.
There's one specifically that releases these little fibers like silicone that when you hit fire to it, turns it into glass. So those like spiked glass you're inhaling, that's what's putting holes in your lungs.
Wow. That's deep.
Got it? And if you probably, the person that's addicted to the cigarettes, if you gave them real tobacco, they probably wouldn't even want it. That's how deep that is.
That's true.
That's how deep that is.
Wow.
So what does it all mean? Just start to the herbs. You can never go wrong. The quickest transference from energy from one point to another is steeping teas, grabbing the herbs from the earth. That's the same reason you don't see nobody boiling herb. Marijuana. You ain't boiling marijuana because they know the way you get it is when you hit the fire hits to release the THC at a certain temperature. Got it? All right. I think that went a long way. Everybody got that, right? Some of the other herbs, by the way, on the Mind Care with the Gotu Kola we went over, there's a ton of them in here, y'all. There's a ton of them. There's a ton of herbs in here. One that I can look at here is, nutmeg is in here. Nutmeg is excellent for memory. Yep. Nutmeg, ginger, ginger, nutmeg, good for the memory. Yep. Cloves, yep. Fennel is in here. So there's a lot of good stuff in here. But like I was saying, this is the formula if you had a problem in that area for memory. And also don't forget about water, right? And then also don't forget about the mushroom family. One of the highest mushroom ones for memory would be something like lion's mane.
Yes, there you go.
Lion's mane. Yep. Lion's mane.
Good. Tastes good.
Yep. All right. We coming down to it, Big B. We are running out of time. We are running out of time. The party's not over. The party just started. You don't need no music. All right. Yes.
Paul, I want to ask, what is the proper way of juicing?
The proper way of juicing is getting real, proper organic foods. That's it. And also just make sure you don't mix fruits and vegetables at the same time. So remember, you're going to
I'm
remember.
talking about your green drink. What is the proper way of taking your green drink?
Okay, that's something different. Okay, my
Yes.
green drink is a combination of land and sea. So that's 3 teaspoon scoops and 12 ounces of your favorite juice. And this is the only time we say if you're going to have a little bit of juice to get it down, or water, okay? Or you can do a 50-50 split. 3 teaspoon scoops, 12 ounces. That's what we look at. That represents a meal. We call that the best of the land and best of the ocean.
And to me,
That would be it.
So how often? So you can just take it for breakfast?
I would
or
recommend,
take it for
yeah, I
lunch?
would recommend it as a meal replacement because the food has been so neglecting. So I would say after a meal, or it can be a meal for you.
Okay.
It is a meal. So that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I tell you, that's the secret. If you start to do a green drink 3 times a day, you're going to see something change because that's the body giving it 3 times a day. You're giving it energy. Breakfast gets you to lunch. Lunch gets you to dinner. Dinner takes you to the next day. You're going to see some change because your body, most of us living on this northern hemisphere have never seen that much energy. You never
Can
seen
you
it.
just take the green drink and don't eat for the day? Just take the green drink 3 times
Yeah.
a day?
That is correct. That's how a lot of people are losing their weight too.
Yeah.
Remember, complex carbohydrates, right? Y'all got it now. Y'all got it now. I'm telling you. Remember the sister? She came back. I tell you, I didn't know who she was. I said, "Sis, I don't know who you are." And she said, "I told you." And she put it together. She was, I mean, she said everybody on her job hating her. She said, "I'm loving it."
Wow.
Yep. You can lose that weight, y'all.
Yeah.
You just got to get the gut right. You got to get your gut right. And the gut happens when you start to get the proper amount of hydrogen-based foods. But you're not getting it. You think that, yeah, I'm going to juice, I'm going to do some celery, I'm doing this. And that's okay. But you got to make sure it's the right type of celery or the right types of fruits and vegetables and things like that. And then try not to mix too much of them together. Remember, fruit stimulates, right? Fruit stimulates, vegetables stabilize. Got it? So try not to eat fruit at night. Ain't nobody eating fruit tonight, right? Ain't nobody eating fruit tonight, right? All right. All right.
We're doing well. We're doing
All right. Let me take a couple more and then we're going to call it. Let's see. Who do we have here? I have Cheryl. Is that Cheryl T?
Yes.
Cheryl T. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, happy birthday. Thank you so much. I see that card. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I'm wondering about, you're talking about the brain, but so I'm thinking about the stress hormone, cortisol.
Yep.
Is there a natural way to lower your stress hormones?
Yep. Stay off the coffee, number 1. Coffee is number 1. Yep. Stress, it erases the cortisol, puts you in fight or flight. But also fear puts you in fight or flight. So you got to learn how to relax. You have to really focus on your breathing, number 1. Okay, so if someone has high levels of cortisol, that's why they're doing these beta blockers and stuff for high blood pressure. They're trying to stop the cortisol from releasing, suppressing the symptoms from doing that. But what's happening is you're stopping the body from doing. It's still trying to let you know there's a problem here. You know, so that's why we say that allopathic medicine doesn't work. That's almost like, you know, when you cooking something and the alarm go off, like the fire alarm go off. And what's the first thing you do? You know, you go and you hit the button, right? Turn the alarm off, but something still might be burning, right?
No, that's right.
So basically that's what the allopathic medicine does. It's turning off the signal. But the body's still saying, there's a problem here. I detect smoke. Something is burning. Something is wrong. Something's out of balance. Something is diseased. But you're not paying attention. So that's why it's a temporary fix to a problem. So what you got to do, you got to relax, number 1. Cortisol is fight or flight. That's your instinct when you're in a crisis. So your body's trying to say, like, if you were in a fire and you had to get out of a fire, what would you do, right? Your body would shut off all the things that it doesn't need to work and bring all the energy to the 2 places where you need it the most, right? Either way, you're going to fight somebody or run. So that's what you got to do. So it's trying to maximize the energy source. So can you imagine if somebody is in a state like that all the time? You got me? Imagine somebody's in a state of fight or flight all the time. That means it's going to say, well, you ain't going to need this digestion because we ain't going to be digesting no food because you all stressed out. So it's going to pull all the energy out of your gut. That's why you got ulcers and people got digestive issues. They say, I'm so upset I can't even eat. Now you know why. And then all of a sudden it says, well, hey, you know, while you're upset and you're fighting this crisis, you're not going to try to have any children or reproductive system. So I'm going to pull away from the reproductive system. Fibroids, cysts, tumors. You got me?
Wow.
Ovarian issues, right? Crisis. Also, you know, we're not going to be balancing any other things going on. So we're going to do excretory. We're going to deal with the kidneys. It strips all the energy from every part of your body. So you got to learn to put yourself in what's called parasympathetic stress. Parasympathetic stress, which is relaxation. That means you got to treat yourself right. You got to have a good day to just relax.
Yeah, man.
Focus on the breathing. You know, y'all have a pamper day. Everybody have a pamper day, right?
Wow.
You say, I got to treat myself right. Got to have a day off sometime. And that's why even the good Lord said, we going to rest today. I guess on this day, he rests. You got it? Because everybody has to shut it down. You can't keep going. So there are calmatives that we use that help you get there, but everybody has to have their own space to find where that is. But cortisol is directly affected to stress, and it will send acid into the bloodstream. So that means you can be in a state of acidosis just by what you're thinking about. Absolutely. Most dangerous thing is right here in your head. It's your brain. That can take you right out. That's why I say, so as a man thinketh, so he is.
Oh my.
Oh my. That's right. So that's why if you're thinking about bad stuff, remember, we are senders, receivers, and balancers of energy.
Yes.
You got that? That means, yes, you send energy, you receive energy, and you balance energy. Let me give you an example. Y'all been walking down the street, and you're walking down the street, and you just mind your own business. You say, feel like somebody looking at me. And then you look over there, and the person looking at you like that, you're like, oh, man, whoa.
Yep.
You felt that energy.
Yes.
You felt that energy. You got it. So that's exactly the thing. You can send energy, you can receive energy, and you balance energy. You got to learn how to balance that. You got it? Starts with decompression time. Decompression time starts 1 hour a day. You got to pamper yourself. 1 hour a day. Start with 1 hour and just do absolutely nothing or whatever you feel like you want to do. You got it? So that means that got to be something that you come up with, not something somebody else say, girl, come on, let's do this. Gotta do it by myself. Sorry, talk to the hand. Gotta do it myself. Stop and do it yourself.
Yes.
How you get into your private zone is only up to you.
That's
you
right.
Got it? Some people walk, some people pray, some people go into, to the music. Some people do anything that gets you in that zone. Some take the Himalayan salt bath. Some get into the aromatherapy. Some read books. Whatever it is, 1 hour a day. Don't y'all think y'all worth that?
I know that's right.
I think you're worth it because you know what happens if you, if you just keep packing it in and not releasing it. One day you're going to come in there and go, boop. They say, man, Bill came in here and told everybody off. I mean, I ain't never seen Bill like that. Bill told everybody off. And then Bill, you over there going, I ain't never done that before in my life. I don't know what happened. That's because you build that up for such a long time. It's a pressure cooker and you're going to explode. So you got to reduce that by 1 hour a day. Just do something to release it.
Yes.
just to sort of just breathe. I tell people start with just breathe.
Yes.
You know, from the
Yes,
belly.
yes,
Belly
yes,
breathers,
yes.
right? We're belly breathers, not chest breathers. We're belly breathers. Got it? Everybody take a deep breath right now. Take a deep breath. No chest movement. No chest movement.
Make my stomach big.
Right. Stomach comes out.
Wow.
Right? Blow it
Wow.
out through pursed lip like you're blowing out of a straw.
Let the belly blow up. Let the belly blow up, doctor.
Stomach goes down. That's it.
right.
99% of the people are breathing wrong. I can tell you right now. You know, when I pull folks in and we get them on the RM3A, 90% of people are breathing wrong.
There you go.
And that's
And
the
most of
highest,
the-
the upper breathing, or
Yeah.
we call
The chest breathing.
top breathing.
Yeah.
Top breathing. That's also acid breathing. That's what's
Yes.
causing a lot of the chronic conditions and the cortisol releasing the stress and putting you in that fight or flight, and that sympathetic stress is up
Right.
here, all up here. So you got to go down to the belly. Now, if you want to make sure you're breathing this way properly, lay flat on your back, okay, on a flat surface. And as you breathe in, stomach's going to raise up. Breathe out, stomach's going to fall. Gravity's going to retrain you. Got it? That's how you do it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. All right. I got one more. I'm going to take one more. I'm going to go down the list here. I got Helen. Helen?
Happy birthday, Dr. Paul.
Hey, Helen. How you doing?
Good. Yes, I have a question. One question is about the, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's the Hemlick minerals. Is this the right one? Is the liquid one?
Humic?
Yes, the humic.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's it.
I have this one, and then I have the fulvic.
Fulvic. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
great.
Mm-hmm. Because you remember,
And-
one is outside the cell, one is inside the cell.
What are
Okay.
those? Right.
Humic
And then-
and fulvic.
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 see.
Fulvic. That's the synergistic energy. That's a catalyst. So for those that are doing the green drink, if you want to amp it up just a little bit more, you can push it with the fulvic and the humic acid. That's actually the synergistic part that makes, when plants grow, that's what makes it happen. That's what makes the seed germinate. You know, when they say, you know, you take a seed, put it in soil, and you water it, well, something has to fire off first.
There you go.
The first thing that fires off is the fulvic acid. That's the fulvic acid. And then from that, the antioxidant properties of that humic is excellent. Also, if you are someone with a green thumb and you want to really see your plants take off, add some of that to your plants. Watch you see that plant take off. That plant gonna be like, whoa!
Wow.
That
Which one,
plant
both
takes
of them?
off. Any plant you add humic and fulvic acid to is gonna grow like crazy.
Wow.
So wait a minute. Let me ask this other question. Ain't we like plants? Ain't we like trees? We're just like trees.
Yeah,
We just
we're
got the
related.
ability to walk around. That's all it is. Ain't that awesome? So what does that mean? You add a little humic or fulvic acid along with those greens, and it feeds the body. Starts to now do those things. Starts to give your nutritional level on the cellular level. That's cell food. That's
How
cell
do you
food.
spell it? How do you spell them?
Humic. Somebody just put it down there. And that's not full. That's not FOL. It's FUL. Fulvic. Fulvic acid is actually what comes when you see a volcano explodes and the molten lava comes down. Well, as that lava comes down, it starts to cool. When it finally cools, now that ash that's on top of there is actually one of the highest forms of what's called fulvic acid. It's very fertile. That's why when you see those mountains where the volcanoes are, you see a lot of greenery around there, right? Because it now grows there. It's very fertile, very fertile. So when they started capturing this, they started adding it to like their, you know, the plant life, and then they started capturing it for adding it to help be a catalyst for foods, and everything moves. Everything moves fast. It's energy. It's energy food. Got it?
Yeah.
So add that to your plants, add that to you.
How much
and
did you add to the green drink?
usually it tells you on there. It's like 1 ounce. It's like 1 ounce to the. Yep. It's like 1 ounce to a green drink.
So, Dr. Paul, two quick things. One, instead of hand lotion on dry skin, what do you use on dry skin instead of the lotion? And then the other thing is for your lips. What type of lip balm should you use?
Yeah, coconut oil or aloe vera gel. That's what I recommend.
Okay. And that's
or
for,
you can do a combination of both.
And that's for your skin, or that's for the lips?
That's for any derma, skin. Yep, hair, nails, everything. Hair, skin, nails. That's what it is. Yeah, you can use that for everything. Yeah, it's good for the whole body. Yeah, it's good for the whole body. Yeah. All right, Big B. I think that's it, man. I think that's it. Oh, the party's coming down to the close, man. Coming down to the close, man.
Man, that's too much.
Yeah, so Bill, Big B, close us out, buddy. Tell them where they can, if they want to participate with the family tree to keep us going.
Right. First of all, guys, let me remind you that any of you that have been requesting to get the chat information, I'm going to put that right now. You see it right now in the chat? Just send it right now to meccavideo@gmail.com. And I'm going to make sure that I get it out to you. And hope I've been doing so pretty good here in the last few weeks. So, and by the way, for some of us who can't see too well, I'm gonna see if I can increase a little bit too, Dr. Paul. And listen, guys, as we always say, this is not something that we make mandatory. But you know what? Hey, listen, it's an important thing that we continue to do that to sort of continue to support it so we can get this information out. So just drop something into Dr. Paul's Cash App. That is the $, capital DR, capital PAUL, capital HOP, Dr. Paul Hop. Okay. And hey, guess what? Make sure you bring somebody else each and every week, because guess what? This stuff keeps getting better and better.
Yes, and thank you,
Shane. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Yes,
look, he had the nerve to come out here on his birthday too.
I had to come out here on my birthday. I wouldn't miss it. I tell you.
I know.
Hey,
that's
family, I enjoyed the time sitting with you all, and I want to thank you all for sitting in, because you know what? Every time we get together. Every time we get together, it's a good time because you're sharing information. Remember, what's your greatest security? Your social security. And what's your social security? It's your family. How about that? You go tell somebody that tomorrow. Say, you know what your security is? Your family. How about that? Not a check. It's your family. So I want to say to everyone, thank you so much for the birthday wishes, and also those that are online, the emails, the texts, everything. Y'all made it a great birthday. And I can tell y'all, guess what I did today? Guess what I did today?
Don't forget the restaurant you was going to tell us.
Oh, yes, I did. That's right. The restaurant is called The White Elephant. It's a Thai restaurant. It's a Thai vegetarian restaurant. They also sell if you have another choice, they still sell regular food, but they got excellent vegetarian cuisine. It's right up in Huntington. Yep. It is excellent because it is excellent for your, if you ever had Thai food, they're very close to the vegetarian diet, and it's excellent. Oh, it's delicious food. So if you're in the neighborhood in the right off of I guess it would be considered Huntington Valley, right up in that area, treat yourself and your family one time. They are picking up, so you can call there and pick up, and check out their website, and you can see some of the cuisine that they have, and they have an excellent vegetarian. Oh, the vegetarian food is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That's right.
So I would definitely suggest that. All right.
Hey,
the
Dr. Paul,
white elephant.
Hey, listen to this, Dr. Paul. Hey.
Hey.
Hey, happy birthday to ya.
All right. All right, family. Well, thank you so much. It has truly been a pleasure. And remember, family, be encouraged.
Yeah.
Because if you're breathing,
you got a shot.
You got a shot.
All right.
Thank you, Big B.
You got it,
Appreciate
buddy.
you, man.
Always, man.
Birthday.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Continue being happy. Continue being happy.
Happy
Birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday to
birthday.
you.
Say, Dr. Paul.
Birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to
Come on, get y'all dance on. Everybody get your
Happy
dance on. Come on. We'll go through there. Everybody shake it off. Yo, I see y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, 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 hey.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Providence, I see you. Don't hold back now. Come on now. Ain't nothing to it but to do it now. Come on. Hey, Rev. Hey, Rev, I see you back there, Rev. I see y'all. I see y'all. Hey, Cliff, I see you, bro. I see you back there, bro. He doing the robot.
Keep on breathing.
He doing the robot. All right, Keith, I see you, bro.
Say, Dr. Paul, happy
And
birthday.
everybody, thank you, man. Appreciate y'all. Bless y'all.
It's not just your birth, it's your birth month.
That's right. It's your birth month. That's right. That's right.
Okay, so keep
the cards coming. Keep the gifts coming. Keep the gifts and the cards coming to Dr. Paul.
All right. Bless y'all. Bless y'all. You know, y'all ain't too bad dancing. Y'all can dance, y'all. You know that? Y'all ain't too bad. It's some good looking folks, ain't there?
Wow,
Hey,
wow.
hey. Hey, Kamara, I see you. I see you, Kamara. All right, all right, all right.
Love you, Dr. Paul.
Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. All right, good. Oh, we got some dancing folks up in here. I'm way back here, Bill.
Bring him back alive.
See, y'all was just waiting to get outside. See, y'all was just waiting to get outside.
Get outside. Party right here. Party over here.
God bless
Be
you
over
with
here.
many more.
Party over there. Hey, Dr. Paul, thank you for everything.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all. Good night.
God bless you all.
All right, all right, all right.
Good
Have your
night.
fun, Dr. Paul.
Good night.
All right, all right.
Now, BBJ, all right.
Good
All
night.
right.
Good night.
Stay young,
So
y'all.
much.
Stay young.
And y'all have a good one. Be blessed.
Happy birthday, Dr. Paul.
All right. Thank you, there, Mark. I appreciate you, man.
Get on up there and go
Yes,
on
sir.
home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dr. Paul, happy
This is
birthday.
the happiest Zoom room I've ever seen. They just started a new. Y'all might have just started something new here.
A new hour.
This the dance hour. Everybody just do their dance like this. Hey, hey. You do like this. Everybody to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. Right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right.
Oh, that's the real you.
Oh, that's the your other left.
Look out now. Look out.
I'll sleep good after this party.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
I'm having way too much fun, boy. This is way too much. And just think, when we play this back, y'all gonna say, "Man, was that me out there?"
Yes. Oh.
Anytime you feel like it, play it back.
All right, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Good night. Bless y'all. Check us out on the weekend. We'll see you soon. All right.
Bless.
All right. God bless
Everybody. See
y'all.
you later.
Good night.
Good night.
Bless you too.